UFC Fight Night, Almeida versus Gosh dang, they had to cancel that one. Now we have Almeida taking on Derek Lewis in the main event. And guys, I'm going to say it right now. Volkanovski took his fight with Islam Makhachev on about 12 days, 11 days notice. Curtis Blaydes pulled out like a week ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, giving Derek Lewis maybe about 3 weeks to prepare for the scariest jiu-jitsu guy in the UFC's heavyweight division with a 100% finish rate, 12 submissions, 7 knockout wins, and inside of the UFC, ground and pound TKO, round 1 submission, round 1 submission, round 2 TKO, and a round 1 submission. This dude is dangerous and just absolutely amazing when it comes to the grappling and ground game type of stuff. But he has been knocked out once. We look back in 2017, 16-second knockout loss to Thiago Moura, so you never know. You never know. Derek Lewis could catch the chin, but we're going to give that prediction later on because you never know. Derek Lewis could be my pick. He could get that knockout. You never do know. It is a very solid Brazilian card right here. We do have Gabriel Bonfim, one of the hottest prospects outside of the top 15 in the welterweight division. I don't know why these heavyweights are on the main card. Like, seriously, Elves, Brener, Esteban, Ribovics makes more sense. Rinat, Fakhretdinov, Elizeu, Zaleski makes a hell of a lot more sense. Even Vitor, Petrino, Modestas, Bukauskas, even Daniel Marcos, Victor, Hugo, all of these fights make more sense on the main card. Why is a random heavyweight fight on the main card? I don't know. But we also have great, solid up-and-coming prospect in the middleweight division, Kaue taking on Abbas Magomedov. Only loss coming to Sean Strickland. Inside of the UFC, we got Armen Petrosian, who's very, very legit, given that his only loss is to Caio Borralho. He's got a win over Gregory Rodriguez, beat Christian Leroy Duncan, AJ Dobson. This dude is legit when it comes to the striking. If he can keep that on the feet, could very well win, but he's going against a legit jiu-jitsu guy. We got another good prospect who, yes, he's coming off a loss to a beast in Benoit Saint-Denis, but he's still a prospect nonetheless. He's very young, 27 years old. He's improving every single fight. You know, he lost. He got finished in his last fight, but, you know, he's still very, very high on my lightweight prospect list. He's taking on a veteran in Vinc Pichel. It's weird to say veteran when he's got less fights than Ismael Bonfim, but I don't know. And again, Elves, Brener, Esteban, Ribovics, banger on the prelims, but obviously should be on the main card over Almeida, Rodrigo Nascimento. The undefeated bantamweight Daniel Marcos taking on Victor Hugo, who's coming off the Contender Series with a crazy 28-fight career that spans from bantamweight to welterweight. Oh my God, Victor Hugo, you are a madman. We got Rinat, Fakhretdinov, another one of my guys, like the guy on the main card, Gabriel Bonfim. Rinat Fakhretdinov is another really, really high prospect I am on in the welterweight division. He's actually ranked at number 15 at welterweight, so you can't really call him a prospect anymore, even though I just did. But yeah, why is he on the prelims if he's ranked? Bonfim is not ranked. Nicholas Dalby is not ranked. Doesn't make any sense in my opinion, but good fight nonetheless. Vitor, Petrino, Modestas, Bukauskas. Very good fight. At light heavyweight, Modestas has been on a little bit of a reunion in the UFC, and a very good reunion at that, winning some good, solid fights after, you know, not doing so good in his first stint in the UFC. Won the Cage Warriors belt and came back and is doing very solid, but he's getting a tough draw in Vitor Petrino in his hometown. They're setting on Modestas here, but got more Brazilians as well. Denise Gomes taking on Angela Hill, getting her shot into the top 15 after upsetting Yasmin Jauregui. She did lose to Loma Lookboonmee in her debut, but since then, knocked out Bruna Brazil and knocked out Yasmin in 20 seconds. Oh my gosh. So even the women's MMA fights are very, very fun because we have all men MMA fights right here that are banger after banger after banger. But then we go to the women And this is the banger as well in Denise Gomes, Angela Hill. And you might be like, if that one's a banger, what's this one? Well, not necessarily a banger, but I do expect there to be a finish in this one. So it could be a relatively entertaining fight between the undefeated wrestler Eduarda Moura. I think I'm saying that one correctly. She is a finisher for sure. 5 submissions and 3 knockout wins. Only 1 decision against a veteran, a tough, gritty veteran in Aileen Satelmeyer, who's really not that good, but she's tough. She's only been finished 3 times out of those 17 times, so yeah, she's a dog. Kaue Fernandes taking on Marc Diakiese in the first fight. And before we go on to anything else, we got to go for the cancellations. Kaue was originally supposed to fight against Nursultan Ruziboyev. Now it's Abbas Magomedov. I don't really know why Ruziboyev withdrew. We already talked about the Curtis Blades one we did have. Daniel Marcos supposed to fight Daniel Santos. Now he's fighting against Victor Hugo. We had Eduardo Moura versus Sol Yul Kim, who is, I believe, from South Korea. South Korea. She was trying to make her debut, that's a horrible debut to have in her hometown. I don't know what they're trying to do with Sol Yul Kim, but she pulled out. Montserrat stepped in. And then the last one, so this might be a little bit too early of a full card prediction because David Onama just got injured and pulled out of his Lucas Alexander fight earlier today. And I fully expect, given that we have, 9 days till the fight happens, I fully expect Lucas Alexander to get a replacement opponent. But that is it. Very solid card. 13 fights, probably going to be 14 once they find Lucas a replacement. But yeah, it's a good card. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps the channel out. Blah, 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 blah. Comment your predictions. Let's get into it. Kaue Fernandes and Marc Diakiese in the lightweight division. The underdog is the debutant in Kaue Fernandes. Very young, up-and-comer finisher. 4 knockouts, 2 submissions, coming off a kick to the body knockout win over an undefeated 6-0 guy. He's a very good striker in his own right, but he ended up fighting an even better striker in Kaue Fernandes, and he got knocked out in that one. And another kick after that one against Felipe Douglas, who is another legit guy, a good up-and-coming prospect as well, who's not really that old. He's 31 years old with a heck ton of experience. If you look at his other losses, the one before that was Rafael Alves, who is a former UFC fighter. After that, been a lot of good guys, 10-2, 21-6, 11-3, and 11-2. He was on a streak before he got head kick knocked out by Kaue Fernandes. I'm actually quite high on Kaue Fernandes. His takedown defense is very, very solid. He's training at a Nova União right here, which got a lot of good legit guys like Renan Barão, like Jose Aldo, like we could go down the list of just a lot of guys you probably don't recognize, but there's a lot of very, very legit guys on this camp. And a lot of good guys with good grappling, good kicking game. Jose Aldo is one of those guys for sure. And I fully expect for this fight with Kaue Fernandes and Marc Diakiese, Kaue wants this fight to stay on the feet, especially with Marc's last few performances, and especially the Vyacheslav Borshev, the Amir Hadjovic fights, what he was trying to do in the Michael Johnson fights. He's trying to get the fight down. He's trying to be Marc Diakiese Medov or something like that. And I don't think it's going to work. I think Kaue Fernandes is going to be, he's going to know the wrestling is coming from Marc Diakiese. I think he's going to defend those shots and outstrike Marc on the feet ever so slightly. Marc is a very solid striker. He's got KO power. He didn't look all too bad against Rafael Fiziev in their fight. Looked decent in the Lando Venata fight. But I think he defends the takedowns, and I think he has the better striking here. I don't know why the betting odds are so high on Marc Diakiese here. It's not like Kaue Fernandes is coming in here on short notice, and wow, there you go. That explains it. The odds are closing in, just as I would think. I would hope at least. Started at like minus 200, now is at the minus 140, minus 145 range. Makes a lot of sense. More and more the people start to look at the film of Kaue Fernandes, see his kickboxing, see his kicks at range, body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks, jabs, 1-2s. His overall striking is going to be very, very legit. Knock that on to the fact that he's got solid takedown defense. I do believe Kaue Fernandes wins this fight by a 29-28 decision. And we do know Marc is a finishable guy, getting submitted 3 times right there. But Kaue Fernandes isn't really a submission guy, even though he does have 2 submissions. I highly doubt he's going to submit him, so he's not going to get knocked out. I do see this fight going all the way. Fernandes by decision. Eduarda Moura taking on Montserrat Conejo Ruiz. I messed that one up in the women's strawweight division on short notice. Ruiz is stepping in for Soyul Kim, I believe is the name of the South Korean fighter trying to make her debut. I mean, they were really trying to give that South Korean fighter a horrible debut against Eduarda Moura. Eduarda, I'm very, very high on. She's young. She's 29 years old. She's a finisher. Only one of her wins coming by a decision. She's on a lot of submissions, a lot of rear nakeds in a row. Round one, round one, round one. All of these fighters with winning records. It's not like she's fighting absolute bums. A few of them were a little iffy early on in the career, but ever since she was 5-0, she's fighting legit competition, especially in the last one, just completely dominating Jaina Silva, and finishing her in round number 1. She's taking on Montserrat Conejo Ruiz, who is known for a headlock and throwing her and then ground and pounding her opponents on the ground. But we saw what happened last time. We saw what happened in the Jacqueline Amorim fight. Once she's on bottom, she's not good there. She's going to take a lot of punishment from Eduarda Moura, and Eduarda's going to know, I ground and pound her enough, she's going to get the back, and I'm going to submit her. So Eduarda Moura, I got her getting yet another rear naked choke submission, and I got that being 10-0 for the up-and-coming prospect, Eduarda Moura. Denise Gomes and Angela Hill in the women's strawweight division. I'm going to tell you in a little bit. But Denise Gomes is the more powerful fighter. She is a lot younger. Not as tall, not as lengthy, but very, very young. At only 23 years old, improving every single fight. Every single fight, her striking's improving. Her cardio is improving. Her grappling and wrestling is improving. Where Angela Hill's kind of been staying the same fighter every single fight for the past few years. Sometimes she'll show a little bit of improvement and things like that, but overall, she's 38 and a half years old. She's on the tail end of her career. At this point, she's just looking for either money fights or entertaining fights that could possibly be fight of the night, so she can make that quick 50 G's, Dana. And yes, she got good wins over Lupita Godinez and Emily Ducote. Emily Ducote doesn't have the power that Denise Gomes has. Lupita Godinez does not have anywhere near the striking that Denise Gomes has. Lupita was trying to take that fight to the ground. Emily was trying to leg kick and just kind of pick her shots at range and try to outstrike Angela Hill. You can't just be trying to pick your shots at range, leg kicking, jabbing a 1-2, and that's not how you beat a girl like Angela Hill. You got to pressure her. You got to put the volume on, put the pace on, land some big shots, land the harder shots, make it a little bit of a rough dogfight type of a fight. She's good in the dogfights, but if you're landing more power in those dogfights, you're probably going to win. And that's what I see happening here. 23 versus 28 years old. I do believe Denise is going to be the more powerful girl, coming off 2 solid knockout wins. Only losing to Loma Lookboonmee due to the wrestling. She was looking decent in the striking until she got cut, I believe. I think it was in round number 2. I could be wrong. But I think this fight stays on the feet. I don't think Angela takes her down. I don't think Denise takes her down. Stays on the feet. Denise Gomes lands the harder shots. And I got her winning by unanimous decision. I mean, if you look at Angela Hill's career and how many fights she's been finished in, 2 submissions. That is 11 decision losses. When's the last time she got finished? Seriously. Randa Marcos back in 2019, and then Rose freaking Namajunas back in 2015, as well as Carla Esparza back in 2014 on The Ultimate Fighter. No, Denise is not finishing her because she's the knockout girl. She's not a submission girl. But yeah, Denise Gomes, unanimous decision. Vitor, Petrino, Modestas, Bukauskas in the light heavyweight division. We already know the game plan of both. Modestas, jab, 1-2, stay at range, leg kick, body kick, front kick, stay at range, move, stay away from the power, don't get taken down. win a close decision. That is the game plan for Modestas. Bukauskas coming on. Good wins over there in Cage Warriors. A knockout win over Chuck Campbell, getting him back inside of the UFC with a short notice opportunity, upsetting Tyson Pedro and beating Zach Paunga, which was a very solid win. He's only 29 years old. Sorry about that. A little bit taller, a little bit lengthier, and yeah, he's better technically in terms of the striking, throws more volume, better kicker, all of that good stuff. But we do know what Vitor Petrino has, and that is more power than Modestas Bukauskas. That is better wrestling than Modestas Bukauskas. That is the strength advantage. That is the size advantage. That is the ground and pound advantage. That is all of those type of advantages are going Vitor Petrino, and I'm honestly rooting for Modestas Bukauskas. I love his comeback story, coming back to the UFC after the devastating injury he sustained against Khalil Roundtree Jr. So I am rooting for Modestas, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go Vitor Petrino to take this fight down, ground and pound, and win a unanimous decision. Modestas is a tough cookie, a hard guy to finish on the ground. He got knocked out by Jimmy Crute on the feet. Got knocked out by Khalil Roundtree on the feet with the side kick to the knee, but he doesn't really get finished on the ground all too much. The last time was Pavel Doreftola, however you say that one, back in 2016. I don't think he's going to get submitted in this fight by Vitor Petrino, and if that's the case, he should be able to survive at least the ground and pound and lose the decision here. He's going to keep it very even on the feet, and whenever Vitor's landing some big wild shots on the feet, the wrestling will come into to effect, and Vitor will win the fight in that department. So close fight, Vitor by unanimous decision. Rinat Fakhretdinov taking on the veteran Elizeu Zaleski, who, let's just take a little bit of a look to admire Elizeu Zaleski's career, because the man has only been knocked out once and has knocked out 14 other guys. 14-1 knockout differential. Only been knocked out by Jingliang Li. And we go through his UFC career, knocking out middleweight Omar Yakhmedov, knocking out champion Bilal Muhammad, Luigi Vendramini, and then winning against guys that are very legit, like Benoit Saint-Denis and Abu Bakr freaking Nurmagomedov. This dude is legit. I think he got robbed against Muslim Salikov in that fight. I think the Nicholas Dalby fight could have honestly gone either way as well. And then he lost to Li Jingliang. There's no shame in losing to a guy like Li Jingliang, who's beaten a lot of legit guys throughout his career as well, and recently has only lost to ranked guys: D-Rod, Hamza Chimaev, Neil Magny. So no real sadness losing to those type of guys. I mean, he's beating champions. He's got crazy power in his hands and in his feet and in his knees. He's got crazy power everywhere, if we're being honest. And the way you're going to beat a guy like Elizeu Zaleski, who, let's get it straight, is the toughest test for Rinat Fakhretdinov today. The way you're going to beat him is to take him down. He's very elusive on the feet. He's very good with landing crazy shots. So you're going to want to take him down. And what is Rinat Fakhretdinov known for? Taking you down, ground and pounding you, 10-8 in you, ground and pounding you, submitting you. Whatever the case may be, just watch his matches with Andreas Michalidis and Brian Battle. Just absolute freaking dominations in those matchups, especially the Kevin Lee one. Oh my gosh. But do I think he's going to submit Elizeu Zaleski? No, I don't. The last time Elizeu's been submitted was freaking outside of the UFC 10 years ago. He's not getting submitted. He's got great takedown defense, but I think they're going to keep it very, very even on the feet. Rinat is going to play as smart as he possibly can when it comes to the striking with Elizeu Zaleski, and then he's going to mix in the takedowns at the end of each one of the rounds. I don't think this is going to be a domination run-through by Rinat Fakhretdinov. I don't think he's going to take him down with ease. Elizeu's very legit when it does come to his takedown defense, but I think he lands those takedowns. I think he grounds him a little bit towards the end of the rounds and steals some of these rounds, where I think the striking is actually going to be very close. A lot of people are saying, well, he looked really good in the striking against Kevin Lee, That was like 30 seconds of striking. We don't know the full scope of Rinat Fakhretdinov's striking right now. Elizeu is a tough cookie when it comes to his striking, so it's going to be a close fight. I think Elizeu is going to win one of the rounds, landing some good shots on the feet, testing the up-and-comer that is Rinat Fakhretdinov, who's kind of in his prime right now at 32 years old. Very fun fight. What do y'all think about this? In the welterweight division, I got Rinat by a close decision. Daniel Marcos and Vitor Hugo in the bantamweight division. I talked about it in the intro to the full card prediction. Vitor Hugo has fought in like so many weight classes. Let's look at his last fight on the Contender Series. It was a bantamweight fight, got the fight down, and he was able to submit him with a knee bar in round 2. Before that, a heel hook in round number 1, 23 seconds in against, not that bad of a fighter, and that was in the lightweight division. I know it says featherweight, but it was at 155 freaking pounds. Before that one, be a 23-9 guy at welterweight. What are they doing? I really don't know. Before that, he fought at featherweight. Before that, he fought at featherweight again. Let's see, does he have any more welterweight fights? And then before that, he was at bantamweight. So he's going just randomly through the different weight classes here. And it's not like he's fighting scrubs. 6-0, 19-3. That's a legit freaking record. 5-1, 3-1, 17-8, 23-9, 15-7, and 16-1. These are legit guys that he is fighting and beating. One of these guys fought Mateusz Nicolau before he ended up fighting Vitor Hugo. Dude, this dude is very legit, fighting amazing guys outside of the UFC. He's only 30 years old as well, with so much experience. But again, he is coming in on short notice, and I don't think he's got the striking that Daniel Marcos does. Yes, he is going to be the better grappler and wrestler than Daniel Marcos, but especially on short notice, even if he's able to land some takedowns in round 1, can he sustain that throughout 3 rounds and submission attempts, ground and pound, takedowns over and over again? Can he sustain that throughout 3 rounds on short notice? I don't think so. And Daniel Marcos, being the better striker, is just going to stay at range. Leg kick, body kick, front kick, just pick him apart at range. Victor's not a bad striker by any means, but coming in on short notice against such a good guy on the feet like Daniel Marcos, who got a robbery win over Davey Grant in the last one, it's a tough puzzle to solve, especially on short notice. And I don't think it's going to be, what's going to be the solving factor in beating Daniel Marcos. I don't think that's going to be the grappling and the wrestling. I think that's going to be outspeeding him, beating him to the mark, and mixing in takedowns at the end of the round. I don't think Victor's going to be able to do that because he's not going to be able to keep the striking very even, in my opinion. I got Daniel Marcos, 29-28. 30-27 and 30-27 unanimous decision. Esteban, Ribovics, and Elves Brener in the lightweight division. I want to see what the odds are right now because these odds have been very close. The last few times I have checked, they have Elves Brener at -152. He started at -200 and went to almost a pick him at one point right there. So this is a very close fight between 2 up-and-coming prospects in the lightweight division, 26 and 27 years old, same height. A little bit of a reach advantage for Elves Brener. If I'm Elves, I'm trying to take down Esteban Ribovics. I'm trying to wrestle. I'm trying to grapple. I'm trying to jits. I'm trying to make this a dirty dog fight like he did with Garam Kutataladze, like he did with Zubera Tukuga, but Esteban's got decent takedown defense. I know the Louis Garadzabal fight, you're going to say, he got taken down a lot in that fight. Yes, he did. But he got right back up a lot of times throughout that entire fight. And he made up for it because when he got taken down in that fight, he wasn't receiving any damage. He wasn't getting ground and pounded. He wasn't getting submitted attempt on. And he was getting right back up and landing a good amount of shots on the feet. Onto Louis Garadzabal. I'm going to go underdog Esteban Ribovics by a decision here. I think he's going to defend the takedowns for the most part. He's still going to get taken down a few times. And I do believe he's going to land the harder, more effective shots onto Elves Brener here. This should be a fun one in the lightweight division. Good fights. Ismael Bonfim taking on Vinc Pichel, the veteran who's been finished by knockout once, submitted once, and decision one time. He got submitted by Gregor Gillespie in round number 2. That was about 5 years ago. Came back with 3 decision wins over legit guys. Roosevelt Roberts, Jim Miller, as well as Austin Hubbard getting wins. A 4-fight win streak before that as well. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, fought Alea Quinta as well. And then he lost to freaking Marc Madsen. This is Gregor Gillespie, a former top 15 guy in the UFC lightweight division. And Marc Madsen is ranked number 23 and is only lost to a previous top 10 guy in the UFC's lightweight division. So no, Vinc Pichel is no scrub. This is no easy fight for Ismael Bonfim. I know you're going to say he's almost 41 years old. He's He's one of the best 41-year-olds on the planet, pound for pound, when it comes to mixed martial arts. He's taller, he is lengthier. He's gonna try to make this dirty. He's gonna try to make this a scrambling fest. He's gonna try to get the takedowns on Ismael. He's not afraid to go for takedowns on Ismael Bonfim. He's not afraid to grapple with Ismael, because he is also very, very good on the ground. But I think Ismael knows that. He's gonna stay away from the grappling for a little bit and strike with Vinc Pichel, where I do believe Ismael Bonfim has a solid advantage. And I do believe he's going to hurt Vinc Pichel on the feet just a little bit in round number 1. He's going to survive. Round number 2, he's going to hurt him again. Vinc Pichel is going to shoot a sloppy takedown. I think Ismael Bonfim is going to catch him coming in with a submission, or he's going to reverse that position, ground and pound, and get that TKO. I'm not confident on what I'm predicting, submission or a TKO, but I'm going to go round number 2 for Ismael Bonfim, keeping the fight on the feet in round 1, hurting him a little, hurting him again in round number 2. I think Vinc Pichel is going to shoot a bad shot, get submitted, or get TKO. Should be a good fight in the lightweight division. Rodolfo Viera and Armen Petrosian in the middleweight division. I am going to go with, I don't know if he's the underdog, honestly. The odds are pretty 50-50 when it comes to this fight. Armen Petrosian is a slight, and I do mean slight, -112 to -108. This is the slightest favor you're going to have on the entire card. This is pretty much the closest fight as well on Tapology, but I am definitely going Armen Petrosian. The way he looked in the Caio Borralho fight, he didn't get dominated by Caio Borralho. He landed some good shots on the feet. Yeah, he got taken down. Yeah, he got his back taken, but his submission defense was really, really good. Viera's cardio is not something we can really brag about or anything like that. And Armen is a much better striker than Rodolfo Viera as well. Rodolfo's going to be walking right into a lot of counters, a lot of punches, a lot of kicks, a lot of knees and things like that. And Armen, he went over to train in Russia. He went over to train for the Caio Borralho fight. And his grappling and wrestling defense is improving fight after fight after fights. I do believe he's going to have his way with Rodolfo Viera on the feet. And I do believe he does finish him in round number 2. Chris Curtis was unable to get the finish. I mean, he just kept shooting on Chris Curtis over and over and over again. But I think eventually in this fight, it's going to be kind of like that Chris Curtis fight. But I think Armen Petrosian will land enough shots and eventually crack the chin of Rodolfo coming in on one of those takedowns, maybe with a knee, maybe with a head kick. And I got Armen Petrosian round 2, TKO. Caio Borralho and Abus Magomedov in the UFC's middleweight division. The first thing you gotta look at is Abus's submission defense. Now, last time he got submitted was freaking way back 10 years ago against Rafael Mox and Andreas Stahl. Since then, he hasn't really fought any guys that I would consider super legit guys on the ground. So you don't really know what he's gonna look like. Again, his fight before the UFC was a 12-0 guy, solid guy, Cesarius Sizik, however you say that name, over there in the KSW, a 12-0 guy. He was able to go out and guillotine, but, I mean, after that one, he was out for 3 straight years, almost, and then he fought Dustin Stoltzfus, sorry, 2 straight years, almost, and then he fought Dustin Stoltzfus, not really much grappling. The Sean Strickland fight, not really much grappling. I don't know what to think of his grappling. We don't see a lot of grappling from Abbas Magomedov, so I don't know what his takedown defense looks like. I don't know what his submission defense looks like. I really do not know. But I think Abbas Magomedov does what he did in the Sean Strickland fight, wins round number 1, lands some good shots. But Kaue is no slouch on the feet as well. Looked pretty decent in the striking against Armen Petrosian. I think he looks pretty decent here against Abbas Magomedov, but I think Abbas slightly out edges him on the feet. Kaue then finds his range, finds his timing on that takedown, gets him down, and I do believe round number 2 or in round number 3, Kaue Bohalia will cinch in a nice rear naked choke submission. Should be a good fight in the middleweight division. Rematch time, Rodrigo Nascimento, Don'Tale Mayes. In the heavyweight division, Don'Tale hits harder. Yeah, I mean, he knocked out Andrei Arlovski, knocked out Josh Parisian, draw with Hamdi Abdelwahab. I believe, didn't he lose that fight and then it got turned to a no contest? I don't know the whole story on that one. Lost to Augusto Sakai, though, which is not a good look, especially heading into this fight with Rodrigo Nascimento. I'm going to say it right now. The first fight, Nascimento submitted Don'Tale Mayes. He's coming off split decision wins in his last 2. That's what I expect here. I don't know why it's on the main card. I expect a boring grapple hug fest from Rodrigo Nascimento. I expect Don'Tale to go out there swinging some big shots, looking to knock out Nascimento. Nascimento using some good defense, clinching up with Don'Tale, making this one of those heavyweight fights. A lot of clinching, a lot of takedown attempts, a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling. I think Rodrigo's going to land more shots, attempt some submissions, ground and pound a little bit, and win it close, 29-28 decision. Nicolas Dalby and Gabriel Bonfim in the welterweight division. I do have this fight going to a decision. If there's any guy in the UFC I would expect not to get finished here, is Nicolas Dalby. Man has never been finished as a pro. Lost 4 times to Zach Cummings by a decision after having a draw with Darren Till. Lost to Peter Zabata, and then lost to Carlo Pederazzoli as well as Tim Means recently, but he's very legit. Beat Elizeu Zaleski in his first fight, a draw with undefeated at the time Darren Till. Went back over to Cage Warriors after that, went on a good win streak, rejoined the UFC, beat Alex Oliveira, beat D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, Claudio Silva, who has a win over Leon Edwards, beat Warley Alves, and then beat Muslim Salikov, all in very, very good striking shows. Yes, not a lot of these ones are finishes, which leads me to believe Gabriel's not going to be too scared to walk into the fire of Nicolas Dalby and shoot those shots, shoot those takedowns and things like that. But he's tough. Nicolas Dalby's good at not getting finished. So it's a tough test for Gabriel Bonfim. He fought Trevin Giles, a good veteran, and Munir Lazez, a solid debut as well. Beat Trey Waters, who's also in the UFC. Now he's fighting a veteran, and a veteran that does not get finished. I don't think he gets finished here. I think Gabriel disrespects the striking of Nicolas Dalby. Gets hit with a few shots coming in, but Nicolas is not known for his power. He's known for his movement and elusiveness. He's going to walk through the fire, get hit a few times, take down Nicolas Dalby, get close to finishing him in round number 1. Not able to do it. Do the same in round number 2. Get close to a finish, but good defense from Nicolas Dalby. Then round 3, he's not going to be able to get the takedown due to the sweatiness, and Nicolas Dalby is going to show that good elusive striking in round number 3 and win that round. I got a good, close back and forth fight here in the co-main event. I got Gabriel Bonfim winning by a 29-28 decision. Jailton Almeida, Derek Lewis, I'm just going to say it. Jailton Almeida by submission, by TKO, ground and pound, whatever the case may be, in round number 1 or in round number 2. It's as simple as that. I know you're going to say, well, what if Derek Lewis catches him with a crazy shot in round number 1? Yeah, for sure. That's the case of every Derek Lewis fight. I know he can easily go out there flying knee Jailton Almeida like he did with Marcos Rogerio de Lima. He can back up Jailton, defend one takedown, and then just crack Jailton with some hooks. He can uppercut him like he did with Curtis Blades. He can get him in the clinch, knock him out there. He could lose, come back in round number 3 like he did against Alexander Volkov. All of these are possibilities, but very unlikely possibilities. Jailton Almeida is probably going to fake a few shots, see the read of Derek Lewis, see if Derek's looking for uppercut, looking for a flying knee, and he's going to fake. get Derek Lewis to bite a few times, and then finally commit on a takedown. Get inside on a double leg, get him to the clinch, work that takedown, either continue to work on that double leg, or transfer onto a single leg. I mean, if you get a single leg on Derek Lewis, you're probably taking the man down. You just lift up that leg. He's not very flexible. He's going down. You get the back, you submit him, you ground and pound him, whatever the case may be. I do think Jailton Almeida is going to win this fight. This is a much easier fight than Curtis Blades. Stylistically, I know Derek Lewis could knock him out, but again, it's very unlikely. What do y'all think? That's the main event. I got Jailton round 1, round 2, finish. That is the full card prediction. I got Jailton Almeida winning by a finish. In round 1, round number 2, he's at minus 450 on the betting odds. I got Gabriel Bonfim by a close 29-28 decision. He's minus 500 on the betting odds. So yeah, those odds are not worth it. I got Rodrigo Nascimento, close back and forth decision as well. He's at minus 200. I got Caio Borralho by a submission in round number 2, round number 3. He's at minus 250. I got slight favorite Armen Petrosian, who's at minus 108. I got him by a TKO in round 2 or in round number 3. Possibly a decision. It could go either way if Rodolfo is able to survive. I got Ismael Bonfim by a finish in round number 2 or round number 3. He's a huge favorite at minus 450. I got underdog Esteban Ribovics at plus 132. I got him winning a very close decision. I got favorite Daniel Marcos minus 228. Winning a close decision, and not Fakhretdinov winning a decision as well. Minus 315. I got Vitor Petrino by a decision. Minus 222. I got Denise Gomes by a decision. Slight favor there at minus 124. David Onama, Lucas Alexander is canceled. Big favorite Eduarda Moura. I got her winning by finish in round number 1 or round number 2 rear naked choke submission. And I got underdog Kaue Fernandes plus 133. I got him by a unanimous decisions. We got 2 underdogs out of 13 right now. Again, you don't know if David Onama versus Lucas Alexander. We don't know if there's going to be a replacement fighter for that one. So you never know. I might make another video on that fight if there is a replacement. What do y'all think about these fights? Predictions down below.